14 signs that your ex will come back. I did a survey recently on YouTube asking people what were their main concerns or their main question, and it was really about if they have any chance of getting back with their ex. And this video will show you 14 signs, 14 reasons for you to work on the recovery. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
A quick word before I move on to the next slide. If you want to support, feel free to subscribe to the channel and get notified. That will help me a lot in my work. So here are the first reasons or signs that your ex will come back. First of all, they follow on social media. And I'm always going to use this argument, if they were really not interested, they would do this and that. So if they wouldn't be interested in you, in getting back with you, if they were neutral, they wouldn't necessarily watch your stories, like your posts, interact on social media. Because as long as they interact on social media, there's some sort of a connection with you. You know that when you talk to them, they are very emotional, either angry or flirty. Because sometimes in relationship, it's very interesting to see that love and hate could be two faces of the same coin. So when you see that there's a lot of emotion towards you, maybe they're yelling at you, as I said, being flirty, it's actually because there's something going on. Texting you regularly, they want to stay in touch with you. And even if you feel those messages, they don't mean anything, they talk about the weather, what they're up to and things like that, not about the relationship. You might be thinking, oh yeah, that they just want to stay in touch to be nice. No, they're not staying in touch to be nice. They're staying in touch because they don't want to cut the relationship. They don't want to cut the connection, which means that they want to leave the door open. And there's a sign for you to get back with them. Jealous is obvious. You've probably have exes, and I don't think you're jealous that they are dating people because you don't care anymore. If your ex shows any sign of being jealous, well, again, it's a clear sign that it's unfinished business and that at some stage you will get back together. I had a case recently, I spoke with someone recently, and it was totally the case. Her ex was showing really strong sign of being jealous, and I'm pretty sure that in a few months they will get back together, because if she's jealous, there's strong feelings, there's something going on. Or try to make you jealous. They want you to react. They're dating someone, and we'll talk about rebound in the next slide. They're going to talk about their life. They want to really trigger you. Again, if they didn't care about you, they wouldn't want you to react. So again, don't read the signs that you can see from your ex as they are mean with me. They are trying to push me down. They are trying to manipulate me. They want me to suffer. Actually, when they do that, any sort of signs towards you could be a positive sign. It's just a question of them not necessarily knowing what to do, but just want a reaction from you. And they're so scared of losing you that they would do this kind of silly stuff, i.e. make you jealous. Another sign is that your relationship was healthy. If you analyze your relationship with an objective pair of eyes, so if we have, for example, like a consultation and I look with you at what happened in the relationship, the foundation and your relationship as a whole, and you realize that actually it was sort of healthy relationship, and the reason you guys broke up was because of the next bullet point about a life event. So basically assessing whether the relationship was based on something that is you're not compatible, you're not attracted to each other, or i.e. it's structural, or it's something due to something that happened around you, in the environment, whether it's at work, whether it's your children. These things can be adjusted, right? And it's very important, because if you're into, I don't know, tall woman, and your girlfriend is small, well, you can't really change that, right? It's a stupid example, but it's the only one I got right now. However, if it's just a question of he's not listening, you have a stressful job, you can change other things. You can work on yourself at, I don't know, working on your, do an anger management course, changing jobs, all these kind of things that you can change. Getting back with an ex is really about things that you can change in your life so you guys can work together. Because something was broken, right? You had healthy relationship, strong relationship. Something happened that made the relationship to break. The idea is, what can you do to fix it? What can you do to change your life, your environment, so your ex perceives that actually you can work together and it can work. Rebound relationship. So it sounds very counterintuitive, but the reason people get into rebound, so a rebound relationship is when you start dating someone right after a breakup. And the reason it could be a sign of your ex, that you have a chance of getting back with your ex, is because when you go to a rebound relationship is because you have to cope with the pain of the breakup. And so you don't get into a relationship out of a desire for someone, but you just go into this new relationship out of need to deal with the emotional pain of a breakup. And if there is an emotional pain linked to the breakup, well, it means that your relationship was special to them as well. So even though you are the dumpy, even though your ex took the decision to break up with you and they end up with someone, it's actually not as simple as that. It's sometimes, very often, it's more complex. It's about them coping with the breakup. And being with that person doesn't mean that they moved on. No. It means that they just want to cope with that situation. And the way they do it, they use that person. So the difference between that relationship and yours is that they use someone as a coping mechanism versus your relationship where they found you, you work together, you have a history, you made things together, you had projects together. And so statistically, you can't compete with the relationship that you've built over months and years with someone that you took years to find versus someone that you basically date a couple of weeks after a breakup. It's statistically impossible or very unlikely. They don't see anyone. It's another strong sign. They don't see anyone. Again, if we see that the breakup affected them in a negative way, this is a sign that actually they could realize very quickly they made a mistake, right? So if they don't see anyone, if they sort of isolate themselves because they're sad and they don't want people to see it, that's extremely strong sign. Another sign, very classic, they keep your stuff. Again, if you want to break up with someone, I don't want to hear from them, I don't want to see them anymore, I don't want to get rid of that person in your life, you make sure that you give them all their stuff. You make sure that, okay, we break up, this is your stuff, I don't want to hear from you anymore. That's not the case. Again, they're keeping the door open. That's really what we need to assess, and what I want you to realize in this video, and perhaps take notes along the way, is whether the door is open or closed. And you don't need the door to be wide open to get back with the next. You just need to be a little bit open, and we put the foot in the door. And then whenever the door is open, it's just a question of allowing them to open the door a little bit. Trusting them, so they can trust that, you guys, again, it's really about you guys, can you work together? Can it work? Is it scary? Is it healthy? Is it dangerous? The option of, okay, let's give you a second chance. What is my risk? And when we limit the risk, when we reduce the risk, it works. They see your friends, perhaps to explain the situation, perhaps to vent, perhaps to ask about what you're up to, because they're confused, they're lost without you. Another strong sign is you broke up after a fight, a very emotional fight. And when you look at the dynamic and you look at the relationship, you know that, okay, maybe you crossed the line, but it's just one event. It's not after years or months of things that you haven't addressed. It's just on the back of something. And this can really be recovered if you do the right things. Your ex stays in touch with your family, same as with friends. They want to have this connection. And you can tell me, you can argue, yeah, but I really got along well with my family. Again, if you want to get rid of someone in your life, you don't speak with their parents. And the last one is you broke up because of a misunderstanding. Again, it's like the same as a fight. If it's a misunderstanding, it's really about you can change things. You can change the narrative and explain things. You can apologize for things that you said or did. And sort of explain. If your ex loves you, if you had a strong relationship, they will understand. You know, we all make mistakes, and they should be able to understand and accept that you made a mistake. The question is not whether you did a mistake, is whether you can correct things going forward and prove them that you have a plan, so this doesn't happen anymore. And that's what their sort of desire to break up, their idea that they will be happier without you, or that life will be easier without you, is actually completely wrong, because you would address what was broken or the things that you need to work on. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to comment on the video. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.